All right, let's see. Got a mic check. How we looking on audio? Let's see here. Yo, yo. Hold on. I hope it's. Excuse me. Okay. All right. All right. Let me get a roll call when y'all hop in. Finishing on my dinner. Oh, we definitely got some stuff to talk about. In regards to the FX3. Of course that is. So let me go ahead and just send these links out. Okay, share this. And then, like I said, let me get an audio check once y'all hop in. So let's see. Put this on Facebook. I am live now. There we go. People want to talk about that camera talk. Hey, now do me a favor. Can you close your grandma's door? I am alive, baby. Okay. All right. So, yo. Okay, we got a couple people in. What is cracking, y'all? I know got stuff to talk about. I'm gonna move my water bottle out the way here. Then I know some of y'all gonna ask me about the Runner SC2, because if y'all, well, some of y'all don't even know I got it. So I got a new gimbal versus the Weeble S. We're gonna talk about that along with the FX3. And my primary reason why I bought the SC2 and sold my Weeble S so fast. Very embarrassing story on that. Very embarrassing story on that. Can't wait to share that with y'all. Let's make sure it's on real quick. I'm going to my channel. Make sure we are live. Okay, perfect. Okay, cool. Mag Julian, go ahead and trade that S3. All right, so listen, we for the most part, I know I usually have more people come in like around like the 5 to 10 minute mark. So for those who are here now, I kind of tell you the embarrassing story that happened to me and why I had to sell my Weeble S. I'm pretty sure I have to tell the story again, and then we kind of like around a 7:40 minute mark, we'll talk about the FX3 and if I'm keeping it or not. Well, if I'm getting that camera or not. Because I know some of y'all already know the answer to this, because you've seen the specs and reviews on the FX3, you kind of already know where I stand with that camera. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of already know if I own an A7S3, if it's a no-brainer or if it's like a must grab. You should kind of already know the answer to that. So I'm running that C2. Let me tell you a story about the Weeble S. I'm shooting a wedding, right? I'm shooting a wedding. I got the A7S3 with the black Pro Mist filter on it. And it is, along with the variable ND, the Freewell variable ND. Okay. During the ceremony, okay, the A7, the Sigma 24-70 is extended all the way out. During the ceremony, the Weeble S failed on me 4 times, making that loud beeping noise, like that doo, like 4 times. As they're giving their vows, as they're saying how much they love you, as a kids, like all of that. My Weeble S is failing on me mid-ceremony. Right. So that Saturday, this happens on a Saturday. I'm like, I can't do this, V. Like this is embarrassing. People pay me way too much money. We sitting here having my gimbal fail like in the middle of a ceremony. So I instantly hit up my boy Dobo. I don't know if you were here or not, Dobo, but shout out to Dobo. I was like, yo, bro, listen, do you have any flexibility when you selling DJI gear? Because he's a DJI rep or something like that. Anyway, and I ain't got no breathing room on that, but I can't hook you with the Running SC2 for $350. Sold my Weeble S in that garbage 28mm f2. I no longer have that as a prime lens. I'm over here tripping. My bad, y'all. I no longer have that as a prime lens. I sold that, and then I end up picking this joint up here. What up, Mark? I know you're gonna come through, bro. I expect I always kind of see you down there. I'm not gonna lie to you. So we almost get into that. We almost at the 7:40 minute mark. Give it just a little bit more time, and then we talk about the FX3 and just kind of where I'm at with that. But the RSC2, listen, if you own, do you see that? like the fact I'm able to fold this joint up like that, and then on top of that, let's just say if I want to kind of like store it a better way, so we can just go ahead and flip that, right? Go ahead and lock it. It's gonna lock somewhere. Nope. Okay, here we go. Okay, hold on. Let's try this again. There we go. Okay, now it's locked. And then you can fold this down. And here you go. This is how portable this thing is. Now, obviously, I still got the, you know what I'm saying, the sliding going on here and whatnot, but to be able to put this in your book bag, and you can shoot like this too. Like you can leave it out just like this, and you can still shoot on it. My bro in like 10K. Oh, bro, you know, this a little light work, bro. We, you know what I'm saying, just a little something here, just a little razzle dazzle. But nonetheless, that's the RSC2 in a nutshell. I programmed this to be my ISO wheel. So on my A7S3, if I'm coming to 640 or jumping to 12,800, I can easily do that with the flip of a trigger here. Very, very clutch, very dope product to have. Can't wait to talk about that more with John and do a full review. Yeah, we still waiting now. 4-minute mark, we still waiting. And y'all already know my live stream not gonna be long either, B. But I'm gonna tell you right now at the gate, we could at least start to pre-talk about the FX3 and kind of what it has. So the FX3 has a tally light. So if you are, you know, if the big red board isn't enough for you, you can use a tally light as a record option. Well, it's like to let you know if you're recording or not. It has a fan in it, like an actual built-in fan. But to me, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I think the fan came in the FX3 because of how small it is. Like if you look at it in comparison to the A7S3, the FX3 actually looks way smaller than the A7S3. So I feel like because it's not in a bigger chassis, they have to put a fan in it just to kind of ensure that, hey, like you won't get any overheating issues from it. Now, to be real, I'm not a fan of how the FX3 look, and I kind of get it. They also put a fan in it because like every cinema camera has a fan in it, but there's not enough. You know what I'm saying? Like to be real, there's nowhere near enough to make me pay $1,300 more for the FX3, right? Well, $400 to $500 more for the FX3, and I can get the A7S3 for virtually like, no, not virtually like anything, for $400 cheaper. The A7S3, I feel like some people are saying that it's still like a photographer's camera, but it's not. Like, if you are a photographer grabbing the A7S3, that doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? The A7S3 was like, this whole line has always been catered to video shooters. So for them to bring out the FX3, I don't really know where the hell was at, but I kind of get from Ben's explanation, right? So my boy Ben Level Tech, he kind of broke it down like this. The FX3 is a Sony way of making you feel stuck, right? Between the two. Like they don't want, well, not between the two, but make you still stuck with just like with their company. They don't want you to have to decide if you're gonna go with Canon. They want you to decide if you're gonna have to go with Fuji. They want you to be like, yo, any type of camera that I'm even considering is gonna be a Sony camera because they have every camera like in that lineup. They got a Sony ZV-1, they got the A6600 lineup, they got the Alpha series, they got, you know, a camera that shoots 50 megapixels now, they got the FX6, they got the FX9, like they got the Sony Venice. Like there's literally, and what's crazy is, here's what's crazy about all those cameras I just named. They all use the same lens mount. All those cameras I just name use a Sony E mount, and the Sony E mount is that versatile to make you just want to bounce the Sony system because you know that's a system that you can grow with, well, except for the Sony ZV-1. But the Sony system is a system that you can grow with. So if you are not an A7S3 owner, would I recommend the FX3? Well, first of all, what's up, Sean? First of all, let's go here. Am I getting an FX3? Hell no. I'm not buying the Sony FX3 under no circumstances. Why would I buy a camera that virtually does the exact same thing my camera does now for more money? And we could talk about ports and all that because actually the FX3 has no professional ports. Like other than quarter, you know what I'm saying, quarter threads, which you could just buy a small rig cage like I have on my A7S3 and then have way more mounting options. So and 9 times out of 10, they're gonna make a cage for the FX3. I bet you my bottom dollar, small rig is gonna make a cage to give you even more cinema ports or more porting or more mounting options for the FX3 for your new cinema camera. But realistically, the small rig cage in the A7S3, especially if you want XLR, you know what I'm saying, audio too, go ahead and put you a Zoom H4n on top of your A7S3, right? You know, the FX3 doesn't even have the auto electronic ND in there, right? So now you can go ahead and put a variable ND on your A7S3. And for the most part, with the XLR, audio now that you have in your H4n, with your variable ND, you pretty much, for the most part, you got an FX6, or what I'm saying. So why would I buy FX3? Like, for real. And I can get some for something like, like this camera is literally dedicated for video shooters, but so is the A7S3. Like, there is nothing other than the fan being built into the FX3 that the FX3 offers over the Sony A7S3. To be real, the actual sensor size that's being shot on the FX3 is actually not even a 12 megapixels. From what I've read, it actually is an effective 10.1 to 10.9 megapixels. So it's pretty much the exact same sensor that you get in the FX6, right? And which essentially is the exact same sensor that you get in the A7S3. But the only thing is you get to use those full 12 megapixels. Now, does that make a difference? Like, this is 12.1 megapixels to 10.9 megapixels. Like, you can be sitting here like, oh yeah, man, that 1 megapixel, I see where they at with this. Yo, Sony, he's lying. We just talked earlier. We getting 4 of them. Not at all, bro. The FX3, honestly, to me, this was Sony's way of saying like, yo, we're gonna let our nuts hang and make it so hard for you to choose anything over the nuts. And to be real, I think they're executing that well, right? So if you look at the FX3, if you look at the Sony A1, and then we look at even if we look at the FX6, right? All these cameras they had just recently announced are cameras that people have been like kind of looking for, right? They've been looking for Sony's response to the R5. Okay, we got the Sony A1. They was kind of looking for a response to the C70. In my opinion, the FX6 trumps the C70s. Like, it's not even close. They were kind of looking for a response to kind of have like that, that video really focused centric camera. They didn't really have a response to any other camera. I still don't see the purpose of the FX3, but nonetheless, though, if you like, I want if this is your entryway into the cinema line, the FX3 got you covered. Not really though. So like that's the thing. The FX3 does not really give you any type of cinema camera abilities that can even train you for when you get like a real cinema camera, right? So what I'm saying about it, I'm hoping literally forgot to turn off the power save option on my Sony A7S3. So I hope it don't shut off on me when I'm doing this recording. But anyway, listen, I do like the look of it, and that satellite go hard. I ain't gonna lie. All right, so Matt, I mean, since you here, bro, I'm curious. Like, what do you like it better than the look of the A7S3? Because to me, the FX3 is not. It don't look as cool as the A7S3 in my opinion. Like I get, you got like the gunmetal silver and all that, but it's something about this all black, and then you kind of put like red accessories on your A7S3 to kind of make it pop. The FX3 to me, honestly, is you got this thick old fan. You know what I mean? Like that protrudes out. People thought it was like gonna be like a S1A screen. It's not that. Clearly, it's not that. And now I actually got to turn a fan on. Like, if I'm gonna, I guess if you shoot like in really, really hot weather conditions, you know what I'm saying? But as far as the way it looks, bro, I'm cool. Like I'm so home with my A7S3, bro. Like if I was gonna jump to a cinema camera, it for sure would not be an FX3, because the FX3 is not a cinema camera. It has no professional I/O ports for any type of XLR hookup, for time code. It has no electronic ND in it. It doesn't have gem light. Like it doesn't even have shutter angle. It doesn't have true 24p. What is it that camera offers in the cinema space that would make you or compel you to go over to that camera? Versus you saving up. I mean, this is a lot to say, and I'm not saying it's like this is a small fee or anything, but actually versus you saving up like another $1,500 or so to get you an FX6. Like, I would not spend close to $4,000 on an FX3 when for $2,000 more I get that much more of a camera, or for $400 less I get the exact same camera. You see what I'm saying? Like the FX3 is not even in the sweet spot. Like, for example, to be real, the A1, right? No, we can say the Sony FX6. Based off the pricing, the Sony FX6 is actually in a more of a sweet spot than the FX3. And the reason I say this is because with the A7S3, it's $3,498. We're gonna say $3,500. The FX6 is $6,000, and then you get the FX now, which is close to like 9 or 10. But you see that 369. Now you have, 3569. Now you're gonna have 35, 39, 6 and 9, like I'm cool, bro. I'm gonna be real, Jobby. That FX3, that's probably the most head scratching camera product to come out, at least for 2021 so far. You know what I mean? And to be real, since we haven't even touched on it, let's be real here, right? Why would I look at an FX3 when Black Pocket just announced the 6K Pro? The 6K Pro kills anything that the FX3 is doing, in my opinion, besides autofocus. Like, for real. Now, some can argue, like, yo, it's on full frame. You know what I'm saying? The FX3 is full frame. You get 4K 120, yada. But with the 6K Pro, if you are an actual person who's looking to do indie movies, who's actually looking for like a legit cinema camera, the Black Pocket 6K Pro is a way more capable camera over the FX3. You actually have professional I/O. You have a big, large tilting screen they say is 1500 nits, give or take. You also get B-RAW, which is way more capable than ProRes RAW. See, here's the thing. A lot of people have been talking about this whole ProRes RAW on Sony cameras. I'm going to be real with y'all, man. Let me answer this question first. Then would you get the FX3 if it was 6K? Then you have something that really consider over the A7S3. Okay, wait a minute. Huh? Let me check what these comments saying real quick. Shirley's gave us 4K DCI. I agree with that 100%. It's like I like it because it's different from everything Sony has done. What they should have done was made it 6K or 8K. That would have been the difference maker. Yeah. Okay, if they'd have gave the FX3 6K or 8K, nah, bro, because then you would have pissed off the FX6 owners. Like, why would you put a higher resolution into a smaller, cheaper body, and you could have put that on the FX6? Now, it'd have been different. They'd have put 8K. Like, I don't know why they gave the A1 8K, but didn't give it to the FX6. And I don't know why they gave the A1 all that and didn't kind of give it to like the FX3 as well. So if anything, if I was Sony, I'd have put 6K on the FX3, 8K on the FX6, and Sony A1. I probably would have just like kept it at 4K, you know what I'm saying? Or I probably would have gave the 8K to this so I could say like, yo, this it's the one, you know what I'm saying? The Sony Alpha Neo, whatever the case is. But to be real, bro, like the FX3, if I agree with that, if it was 6K, that'd be a different story. Maybe. But not even really, because me and my boy Sean, we talking about that all the time. Like this whole 6K, 8K argument, like we can have that talk to right now. The whole 6K, 8K argument to me, it's pointless. And the reason I say this is because, like, real talk, if you go watch some of these Sony clips, like those Sony A1 clips, where they say they shooting 8K, you can't see it. You like your phone. Nobody's phone right now is 4K. Even Sony's. I think Sony's the only phone that have a 4K display on it, but their phone is so overpriced. Nobody's buying that. Stop it. So there's nothing that you could actually even watch. There's no 6K TVs. 8K TV is not affordable yet. So 4K is still like the ultimate option. It's probably gonna be the ultimate option for at least another, I'm gonna say at least 5 years. And by the time the A7S3 comes out, then 8K will be the next option for like the next, like we're just not ready to handle those other resolutions yet. Now people will argue and be like, yo, but you could do so much more cropping in. I would never replace a second camera for a crop in option, right? Because even if you're cropping in at 8K, yes, you're still quote unquote getting like that 4K resolution, but it's still a crop. You're cropping in on that sensor versus you just having another actual angle to work with. Right, you actually have more of a professional look. So for me, the whole cropping option, when you talk about higher resolutions, I'm not doing that on a professional job. I'm not shooting something in 8K just to have the ability to crop in 4K, right? If I had 2 subjects, guess what I'm gonna have? I'm gonna have 2 cameras on each one of my subjects, or I'm gonna have a camera that's like a wide angle lens, and then if I can have 3 cameras where I have boom, boom, boom. But to say that I'm just gonna sit there and use 8K for cropping only, nah. And to be real, the file system management is not ready to handle 8K. And on top, it's H.265. Your computer can't handle Sony's H.265 4K clips, but they can handle 8K H.265. Stop it. That conversation. That right there. 6K, 8K. I don't know, bro. No, I don't know. That's true, Sean. You know they could do it small since they did with the damn ZV-1. It would have made more sense to just merge the A7S3 and the FX into one camera. They essentially serve the same purpose. I agree with that 100%, Tyrone. To be honest, most of our clients can tell the difference between 1080p and 4K. Dog, bro, thank you. And again, see, here's the thing that what Sony's doing. Sony knows right now the market they're in is to capture the content creation market, right? And right now, the biggest thing with content creators is more resolution, 6K, 8K. Like, oh, my camera shoot 8K, my camera does this. Like, yo, bro, like that's cool and all, bro. But if you're shooting 8K, you're making a harder workflow for yourself and something that you're doing that your client that's not even asking for or even paying you for, bro. Could you imagine, way out in here, Sean and Mac, could you imagine shooting a wedding in 8K? Why? Why put myself to that workload? You know what I'm saying? And then for your clients to watch it back 9 out of 10 on their iPhone, right? That's 1080p, or to watch it back on their TV or something that's probably going to be in 4K, or their monitors, which is part like everybody don't have 4K monitors at the crib, right? So let's just say they're watching on their monitor. It's still in 1080p. It's still in 10. Bro, there is no point, at least as of right now, 2021, 8K, like, we're not ready for that yet. 4K is just now. And it's still not. And when I say 4K is still not the standard, the reason I'm saying 4K is still not the standard is because you got to think about it, right? For the most part, everybody or anybody who has a computer or computer monitor, most of them who are not content creators are still using 1080p monitors, right? Hell, I just upgraded to a 4K monitor. Most people who are watching content or whatever the case is, like they're watching on Netflix, they probably got like a 4K TV. But most people are not watching YouTube on their TV. You can ask any creators, what are their analytics looking like, and having people actually watching their content on actual TVs is going to be very, 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 very low. So the whole argument that 8K is kind of like the wave of the future, yeah, it's the future, but just not now. Like we're just not there yet, bro. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm trying not to. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, why 8 hours of footage in 8K? My God, I rage quit, bro. You see what I'm saying? Like, could you imagine that type of workflow? So yes, I hear people saying like, like, so Tyrone, back to your point of if they would have merged the FX3 with the A7S3, like there's nothing to merge to be real. Like there is nothing that the FX3 is doing that the A7S3 can't. If the tally light, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Like they could have get an A7S3 tally light. Hell, like there's a little light on the corner of the A7S3. They could have easily made that a tally light. As far as the mounting options, buy yourself a cage. Now you have all the mounting holes that you can ask for on this camera. I don't know what, like, when you say merge, bro, like what? Okay, here's a better question. What is it that the FX3 offers that you wish the A7S3 offers? Because now in a few weeks or a few months, whenever they decide to do it, the A7S3 getting S-Cinetone. So let's pull back from the FX3. Hell, I'll be even compelled to ask you, what's the huge difference between the FX6 and the A7S3? To be real, I'm gonna tell you like what Sony's doing right now, bro. And Sony is so smart the way they're doing it. They are pretty much giving us the same camera in a sense, 3 different times with a couple of different changes and charging you more money for it. That's essentially what's happening. The FX6 is an A7S3 with a more professional ports. But again, if you look at the FX6 and you take away the variable ND, the electronic, well, now you get to another discussion. This is true. Because the FX3, bro, can't, to be real, Sean, the FX3 can't even stand on its own. But I am curious to hear what you would say about the FX6. Okay, XLR time code GenLock variable ND. Okay, cool. So this is gonna be an interesting conversation. Everyday Tech, what up, bro? This is gonna be an interesting conversation, Sean. So let's look at it this way. Not for people who shoot indies and stuff like that, right? For like your documentary filmmakers. But let's just say people like me, you, Mac, Tyrone, whoever, like your 2021 professional. Okay? Let's go there. Let's go with your 2021 professional. With your 2021 professional, with the cameras that we have accessible to us and most jobs that we go to, most of them are not asking for GenLock. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not something that's like a requirement. It's dope to have, but it's not a requirement. Now, in regards to the XLR, get your Zoom recorder. Time code, if you want to, right? You could get a tentacle joint. And I'm not saying that's nowhere near as efficient as something that's actually built into the system. But what I'm saying is it can be done. And again, auto sync still works. What else? And then you said variable ND. So then it doesn't offer much. Oh, okay, I'm assuming you said offer. And then with the variable ND, there's no what's the word I'm looking for? There's no compromise for that. Okay, that variable ND joint that's on a FX6, I need that. Okay, is it worth the extra $2,500 over my A7S3? So here's my question, Sean. With the four things you just named, right? XLR, time code, Genlock, variable ND. Is that enough to compel you to spend an additional $2,500 for a camera that your client, that based off your clientele right now, is not asking for, right? And to be real, the A7S3 is more than enough for most of us. On God, bro, like, bro, let's keep it a buck here, Matt. You know what I'm saying? Sean, I'm gonna let you answer that question, but let's keep it a buck here, Matt. For what we doing, bro? For what clients are paying us for what they're seeing, bro? Like, to be real, if you shot a client, some client work with A7S3, they're gonna be amazed, bro. Because especially in the time we're in, you know. And I'm not saying you still can't get dope looks with SL2s and SL3s and all that, but bro, we're shooting with a camera that it can do everything. You feel what I'm saying? So I think that's the problem for me, and I could be real with y'all. So let me be a little bit more real with y'all. I'm gonna take a bite of this beef and broccoli here because I haven't ate yet. Okay, here we go. The problem is for me is that this is the first time I've owned a camera of this status or magnitude. Hello, water. Oh, okay, Sean. Well, there you go. Back to what I was saying, though. Look, the A7S3, think about this. I'm coming from a GH5, an X-T4. If we think about the past cameras, you know, we got a G85, a Lumix G7, a Canon SL2. This is the first time I've actually owned a camera that is this capable, right? That can literally, there is nothing I can't do with this camera, like literally. So for me, it's kind of hard sometimes, like when I see these other cameras and I'm sitting here looking at them, right? So for example, right, I look at the FX6. The FX6 got, you know, Genlock, time code, XLR. I was like, okay, cool. You know, as far as me being able to sync up my footage, I'm still like DaVinci Resolve still got it for me in regards to how they sync up audio. Is it as efficient as time code? Hell no, we know that. But for what I'm doing, yeah, right. XLR, I got an H4n, and you know what I'm saying, for even more efficient audio, for better audio, I got a Tascam. I want to kind of like put it right on there, and then I got a Rode MTG mic that's going into, and I got a Deity mic on top of my camera. You feel what I'm saying, for scratch audio. So you know, audio is not like a huge thing. The Genlock, again, I have no experience with Genlock, so that's not like a, you know, none of the jobs I've ever done has even requested or like has made that a requirement for me to have something like that, right? So obviously, yes, right. Cinema cameras heavily depend on what you're doing, and the type of client work that you're doing. But as far as like, you know, it have an impact over the quality of work that you're producing, or you being able to see like an actual difference, like, yo, this is shot on a cinema camera and this was not. I think those days are gone, bro. Like, to be real. And I kind of feel the way the market is moving, I kind of feel like, to be real, I kind of feel like cinema cameras are not going to be what they used to be. And the reason I say that is because the cameras, especially like now, these mirrorless cameras are becoming much more capable, right? Full frame is like, you know, it's finally like on Micro Four Thirds level as far as like what you can do with it, right? You can finally get unlimited recording like without overheat. Well, the A7S3 can. You got some good IBIS, you got 4K at 120. Like, full frame cameras are actually like really catching up to what cinema cameras can do. And I do feel like on most projects, like moving forward, I don't really think clients will be asking you specifically for cinema cameras. They may just ask you like, yo, what type of camera you got, right? They may just be like, yo, what are you shooting with? And you could be like, yo, an A7S3. And they might be like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely depends on the type of line of work that you do. Okay. But we're just, you know, taking a look at it like a step back, right? Let's just say for when you, Mac, for any other filmmaker that's in here right now, if you're looking at these cameras just side by side, right? The A7S3, the FX3, and the FX6, I don't see enough from either one of these cameras to make me skip over a $3,500 price tag, right? So if we take away XLR, and if we let's just say we replace the time code and we buy a tentacle for the A7S3. And that tentacle system, I think, is like around $350. So now the A7S3 is now up to $3,800. And then if you have a H4n, you don't need the K3M adapter. So we're just gonna say the A7S3 is $4,000 to make it a cinema camera, versus the $6,000 that you got to spend on the FX6 versus the $3,900 you're going to spend on the FX3. But again, here with the FX, if you got an A7S3, you still getting I would say I don't want to say a better camera, because the FX3 is so in line with the A7S3. I don't want to say I don't want to say the A7S3 with those mods make it a better camera than the FX3, but it just kind of makes it like a moot point. That's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's gonna make it a moot point, because the thing about cinema camera is like one of the perks and benefits. Okay, I say this, Sean. Let me back up. No, I can't even say that, bro. I was gonna say battery life, right? Because at first, you know, when people buy cinema cameras, they want like the long record times. But the problem is with, you know, now with the cinema camera, or you have A7S3, it works on power delivery. So you could like plug up a power bank, and now you have unlimited recording. Or if you have a Ninja V, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you don't want, you're gonna burn battery quick as hell on Ninja V, but you know what I'm saying? Be like, you still get that flexibility of having long extended recording times. Like the days of needing a deep tap, like in my opinion, need a deep tap battery to kind of get through those longer shoots are not needed. You know, I have a 20,000 milliamp hour power bank that can power this A7S3 for God knows how long. You know what I mean? I just feel like cinema cameras just don't have the same weight and mirror they used to have with mirrorless cameras. I think that's the whole point of the stream that I'm trying to make, y'all. I think that's what we get. Amongst prosumers and freelance filmmakers, cinema cameras will be obsolete in a few years. Agreed, Mac. Sean, it all depends on what you're doing. That's still the case. That's still the case for sure. But I do feel the requests for cinema cameras are not going to be as high as they are now. Essentially, right? That's what I'm saying, bro. I'm sure some doc shooters would say the bigger battery is clutch. Again, bro, you got power delivery, you got power bank. You know, the bigger battery, you still have a bigger battery. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the again, it's one of those. Me, you had this conversation. The practical versus technical. Like, yes, people would like say the D-tap battery, like the D-tap battery is better for this, that, da. Cool, I get that. But if I could hook up a power bank and attach it the same way you're doing your D-tap batteries and still plug it in and still get the same type of efficiency, what makes your setup that much more different than mine? Right. Hey, we talking some shit today, y'all. I love the look of cinema cameras. They look more efficient, but we can produce the same quality for half the price. Bro. That's a very valid point. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's the thing, bro. If I showed Sean this video, I gotta send it to you. I sent it to you in our group chat. There's a video that Any Mogul did for the A7S3 versus the Sony Venice versus the Alexa Mini LF. It's a $60,000 and a $70,000 camera versus an A7S3. And at first, I thought they had changed the lens on A7S3 because in the thumbnail they had it like with a bigger like cinema lens. But they was using like their standard G Master, probably like a 24-70. Bro, besides Sean, who's a colorist, your average person is not gonna be able to tell the difference between the A7S3 and like the Alexa Mini LF or the Sony Venice camera. Like looking at them side by side, if I'm not able to tell the difference between a $60,000 to $70,000 camera versus a camera that costs $3,500, I don't. What am I getting it for? I do feel like the movie industry or the YouTube industry has kind of like put people in a mindset of like them needing certain things because it's like an industry standard. But it's like, yo, bro, we are reshaping the voice of the industry. So the industry standard is what, to me, in my opinion, whatever the industry is using at that point in time. So like right now for prosumers and freelance, mirrorless camera is the way. Cinema cameras are still there, but it's just like, let me read these comments. For the kind of work, you always have to battle one of the best two for the job. Yeah, IQ wise, these low end cameras are hitting way above their weight class. For sure, bro. Like we just talking about last night, bro. The people are making millions of dollars shooting movies on iPhone, bro, on iPhones. There's this movie y'all called Unsane. Came out in 2018. This movie was shot on an iPhone 8 and made $4 million. Now y'all probably thinking like, yo, that's not like a lot of, bro. For somebody to go outside and to film a movie with a phone and bring home $4 million off of that, off an iPhone 8, you're sitting here trying to tell me that I need a cinema camera. Why? Why do I need a cinema camera? Hell, at this point, why not even a mirrorless camera? You know what I'm saying? Like, if people making that type of money off, you know what I'm saying, off an iPhone 8, high flying bird, was shot on an iPhone 11. Now, don't get me wrong. Listen, you could obviously tell the difference between iPhone footage like an A7S3 footage. Okay, it's still phone footage. But my point in saying is, it's like, yo, even depending on the job that you're doing, there's so much more that goes into it than the camera. You know what I mean? So let's look at this from a perspective of the FX3. If I didn't own an A7S3, so let's start there, right? TJ, my man, what's good, bro? Look at the Pocket 6K, for example. Right, bro. You know, and we touched on that, bro. The Pocket 6K, I'm gonna be real with you, bro. If I was a cinema person and I didn't own an A7S3, like if most of my work just involved me doing like manual focus, I would for sure grab a Pocket 6K Pro over an A7S3. Undoubtedly. Like the fact, because we didn't touch on it, but ProRes RAW just ain't it compared to B-RAW. And I do wish Ninja or Animos would update the A7S3 for us to be able to use B-RAW versus ProRes RAW. Because right now, ProRes RAW is useless. It's just useless, right? People gonna say like, yo, but the image is so much cleaner. It looks so much better. And I just heard like Armando Ferreira talking about this like in one of his videos. Like, it's like, bro, listen, like, yeah, ProRes RAW, it looked cool and all that, but the stuff that y'all got to do, and that's the thing that be blowing me about these cameras, right? The stuff they got to do to show me the difference, that's what annoys me. Like, if you got to zoom in this much, if I got to crop in this much of the screen and do some type of manipulation just to kind of see the actual added benefits of what you're talking about, then it's not a real benefit. You know what I mean? So ProRes RAW, right? That's not a real benefit because you can't even change the white balance even in Final Cut Pro. So that's one of the main benefits to having a RAW anything. I can't change the white balance. So, you can change the ISO. So, and 10-bit is more than enough to manipulate any colors that you want, to be real. You know what I'm saying? Without like breaking up. So you got to think about it. You have 16 billion colors to work with. It's not like, you know what I'm saying, you're dealing with 8-bit here. And even so, the footage that I seen from my iPhone 8 with the color is working off, again, this movie called Unsane. What he was able to do with this iPhone footage, like, bro, a lot of this just be just talk. To be real, bro. Like, the thing is, in America, we are in a consumer country. You know what I'm saying? So it's their job to say you should, even if it don't make sense. But I want to back up real quick, because I did say I want to look at the FX3 if I didn't own an A7S3. Because then we got to the 6K Pro. If I did not own an A7S3, would I get an FX3? No. Still wouldn't. I was saying, I'm really still trying to think, like, if I own an FX3, I would look at them like, okay, got the same batteries as Sony A7S3, got a flip out screen. The A7S3 actually uses all 12 megapixels, which is, again, whatever. The A7S3 comes with the HDMI lock. The FX3 does not. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, yeah. I still would not get an FX3 if I didn't own an A7S3. For real. And you know, that's where I'm at though. It's worthwhile issue. If you're serious about shooting raw, you're serious about color grading. If you're serious about color grading, you color and resolve. ProRes RAW doesn't work in resolve. That's a non-star for me, bro. 100%. There and today, I don't. Why? You know what I'm saying? So that right there to me makes RAW again a non-conversation starter because it cannot be. It's not like a standard. Like it's a standard, but not like on mirrorless cameras yet, right? There's still like nuances and caveats that you got to work through, right? So like, yeah, you can shoot RAW, but you can't use RAW in your preferred NLE of choice, right? If I don't want to use, like, I shouldn't have to be forced to use Final Cut Pro just to use RAW, right? And I shouldn't have to convert it, right? So like my boy told me, like he was converting. You can convert RAW into ProRes 444 and then take that into DaVinci Resolve. I'm not doing that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not doing that unless it really required it. And even still, when we say required it, what is it that is 444 give you that much more? Like, yes, it kind of is, right? Because then that's a 12-bit workflow. Like, I get that, right? 12-bit over 10-bit, obviously, we're talking about a significant amount of difference in colors. But again, if people are, and Sean, I've seen you manipulate 8-bit footage to any way you want. So realistically, you coming from 10-bit to 12-bit to add the extra steps that you're doing, what added benefit did you get from doing all that extra work? Like, what is it that ProRes, like, what was it, or what is it that ProRes 444 gets you that ProRes 422 doesn't? I'll wait for you to answer that. The ProRes RAW B-RAW issue to me is entirely about companies want to control their platform, mostly on the Blackmagic side, to be honest. Huh. I would agree with that. I'm gonna give you that. Okay, I'm gonna give you that. Because honestly, I don't see any other reason why the FX. No, I don't see any other reason why like Nikon, right? The Z6 and Z2 actually has B-RAW through the Ninja V. No, so I don't even think it's the companies, bro. Because again, Nikon got it. So I don't know if it's like Sony maybe having a deal with ProRes or something like that. But again, Nikon has B-RAW. So I don't think it's that. What else we need to get into? So let me, Sean, I don't know if you're gonna answer that question now, but let me kind of also give you all some updates on the shit that I've been doing. First of all, have y'all peeped the actual ad that I have in my videos yet? And if so, what do you think about it? Right? I think this shit pretty cool. Like, I actually have ads like a sponsored message about Brookssmedia is pre-recorded, but like, yeah, what y'all think about that? That's number one. Number two, did you see my Sigma review of the 24-70, which we're currently shooting on right now? And what y'all been thinking about the vlog? So again, so like right now, I could tell you, like, since y'all here, the few of you that are here, I got some shit lined up, B. But like, as far as content's concerned, I have right now, so I got four videos already done and scheduled to come out, right? But I have 15 weeks worth of video content like ready to drop. Dead ass. Like, when I say I'm gonna be real with y'all. Well, first let me read this. Because anytime my boys say well, it's always some shit to it. So, well, I can make 8-bit look good. Sometimes really it's an uphill battle depending on what I like to do. 12-bit with ProRes RAW is so much better. It's Apple and Blackmagic issue. That's not allowing cross compatibility in their leads because their format and their right competitors. But again, like I said, Sean, you know what I'm saying? Also remember that Nikon has B-RAW. So is it Apple and Blackmagic, or is it the camera companies? I think, you know what I'm saying? But where were we? We're talking about the content that I had lined up. Yeah, content wise. No, it was discipline. I'm gonna be real with y'all, yo. The discipline that you have to create content on a consistent basis is so fucking hard. And it's because I'm really trying not to give myself an excuse why I can't create the content that I'm trying to create. Right? Because it's all about timing, it's all about discipline. And as of right now, I can probably say, like, yo, I've been dropping some dope shit for y'all, right? So I finally got it where I'm gonna do one video a week. It's gonna drop on Mondays. I dropped this last one on Sunday, but just based off the performance, I know Mondays are usually better for me to drop videos. So Mondays, I'll be dropping a video every single week. Every single week. Now my vlogs, because I know they can hit or miss, like it depends. Like for the most part, even the vlogs I got lined up for y'all, like they're so good. Like they are really good as far as like what I'm like the content that I'm delivering and whatnot, bro. Like I got some shit. I'm so happy. I'm so happy kind of be in that mood and that swing. The only thing that I truly need for real, being 100% real with y'all, I need Sony to send me a 20 mil or a 24 mil. It is so freaking hard trying to vlog with a Sigma 24-70. Jesus Christ, this lens is heavy. Okay, this lens is ridiculously heavy. I know it's something like 2 pounds, bro, but if you're walking around with this, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm definitely trying to get like a vlogging lens. I'm gonna hit up Viltrox to see if they can send me one, and also too, I have a special guest who's confirmed. I have a special guest coming on for next week's live stream. So we are doing another live stream this week on Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I have a special guest whose videos y'all love. I'm pretty sure y'all heard of this dude. He's super cool. He's super funny as hell. Definitely want y'all to be there for that live stream. Yes, the NLE side of things is more where the issue is. They have it via the Blackmagic external recorder. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So this whole time I'm thinking that you could do B-roll through the Atomos. So you could do B-roll through the Blackmagic external recorder. Let's look that up real quick. You know, like why not? Blackmagic external recorder. And it's the same price for the most part as the Ninja V. It's way uglier though. I'm not gonna lie to you. But this is see this is a prime example of how marketing can go, right? Because to be real, you don't even hear people talking about the Black Pocket recorder nowhere near as much as you hear them talking about the Ninja V Atomos. Now, I don't know if it's because the Ninja V Atomos really doesn't like allow you to shoot B-roll through like a lot of other stuff. But here's the problem. They allow you to do ProRes. Like I'm looking at it now, like they allow you to shoot ProRes HQ. Like yeah, this is interesting. This is really okay. That's why. So the reason why people are not talking about the Black Pocket recorder. Hold on, Sean. Like they got to be using something else then, bro. Because right here, this Blackmagic recorder / monitor only goes up to 1080p 60. So what are they using? That I'm really curious about that. I'm gonna do a little bit more research on that. To see what is it you have to use to shoot the raw on Nikon, the B raw. So I definitely check that out, bro. You just put me up on game on that. Blackmagic doesn't want to pay the licensing fees to Apple for ProRes RAW. Yeah, I mean, if I got B-raw shit, I wouldn't either. Like, fuck them. I don't want to pay out for nothing. I can go ahead and use my own stuff. I just want them to put, like, to be real, bro, I just really want B-raw my A7S3. If I can get B-raw my A7S3, this is a different type of conversation. You know what I mean? And if I'm not mistaken, but hold on, Sean, here's another thing, bro. If I'm not mistaken, the Sigma FP also does B-raw. Wait a minute, bro. Wait a minute. So Nikon, want to shoot B-raw, or let's see, B-raw. Let's see. Let's look this up real quick. So how do you shoot B-raw on the Sigma FP? I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna look that up. Okay, the Blackmagic Video Assist. Okay, let's look that up real quick. I found the recorder that you need to record it. So you need it's called the Blackmagic Design 12G. Son of a. All right, so listen. This is probably why you don't hear people talking about the Blackmagic recorder as much as you hear them talking about the Ninja V Atomos. The Blackmagic recorder, the 12G one, for you to use to be able to shoot B-raw costs $1,000. Now, in all fairness, it does have like a lot more ports. Like, you know, it got SDI already built into it. It has 2 battery slots for you to use. Like, I mean, it's a little beefy joint. You know what I'm saying? Like, it gets the job done. But at 1K, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty tough. 2500 nits, P3 wide color gamut. And it only shoots 4K up to 24 frames per second. You can even do 4K 30. You know, but I don't know where they're going with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't get their thought process behind that, or what they were trying to do, what they was trying to accomplish with that. But now I kind of see why the Ninja V is definitely more talked about than the Blackmagic joint, because I'm not paying y'all 1K for it. It'd be different, Sean. It'd be different if I had this recorder and I put this on any camera and I can shoot B-raw. Oh, maybe that's a different story. But the Ninja V, I see why, you know what I'm saying, why they kind of set a talk at town. But nonetheless, y'all already know how I get down, bro. We don't be on live for 17 hours. We ain't going on all that. So the next video I have coming out is, I can tell you that right now, because it's coming out next Monday, right? So let's go here. Go to my studio. The next video I have coming out, so y'all can be aware, because the Sigma lens video did surprisingly well, right? My Sigma lens review got over close to 1,500 views in these past few days. You know what I'm saying? 53 likes. Like, we was cracking in that joint. But the next video that's dropping March 1st, which is that Monday, is going to be how are you defining success? Sony A7S3 XLAW 3 exposure compensation review. So if you definitely look into that, that's dropping Monday. Make sure you turn on notifications, hit the bell, and all that good stuff, so you can make sure that drop. And then the video I got after that video is going to be, I got it written down here. Where are you at? My most recent purchases. Since y'all here, then we can wrap up after that. The purchases that we are going over is going to be my Freewell ND filter, variable ND joint, Apache cases, Ronin SC2, Goldice VL200, and Sony 35mm. So we'll be going over those in 2 weeks. So the content is here, baby. The content is lined up. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I just kind of want to talk about the FX3 real quick. And for the most part, I think this live stream stayed pretty consistent about the shit we was going to talk about today. But next week, though, again, special guest, he's confirmed. My man is confirmed. Shout out to him. It'll be a funny ass live stream. Might be smoking and drinking on that one too. But we out, babe. You know what I'm saying? Deuces.